Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming next with another video. Alright, so man, enjoying my day. Just got myself a salad as usual. All my EBT stuff got replenished, so I made it to the 7th. We're here and gonna grab most of the stuff that I otherwise would have picked up if I ever was there. So I got a lot of stuff to lug back to the house, but I should be good to go from here. Today I could have very easily stayed in the house, to be honest with you guys. I was still fighting through the laziness of wanting to kind of do things at the crib. Did some good art. I think my art is actually taking up a notch in terms of improvement. I can see improvement from where I am to where I was about a month ago, so that's encouraging. And you know, just enjoying the day thus far, man. Very thankful. I woke up this morning, had a dream about a friend, nothing too serious, but as I was waking up, I heard the words, "Today is gonna be a bad day," in my head. It was before, it was like in between sleep and awake, just like when all the supernatural stuff happens in my life. I heard those words. It sounded like a woman said it. I don't know if it was actually someone outside my window who may have said it, or if I was hearing it in my own head. I couldn't tell. But I said some prayers asking the Lord to prepare me for whatever would be, just in case. And so far, nothing has popped up that would make that the case in my life. But you know, everybody's going through something, so I always am aware of that. It's like, just because I'm having a good day don't mean it's a good day. For all I know, somebody I care about is having a bad day or something, you know, and I just ain't got the news. So I said a lot of prayers in regards to that. And as of several hours in, what is it? Probably like 3 o'clock or something like that. 3:30. So far, so good. Good day. So God willing, it stays that way. But yeah, man. Just been paying attention to everything that's going on online with the OVO versus Kendrick Lamar thing, that whole situation. And, you know, and what I understand, there was a shooting outside of Drake's house, which ain't surprising me, y'all. I told y'all violence would come from situations like this. Doesn't mean that this necessarily had to be directly connected, but once you start mucking around in bad energy, you will create the environment for certain things to happen off of the strength of that bad energy. And we know that Drake has had conflicts with not only Kendrick Lamar, but so many other people at the same damn time, which I always say is a bad idea. It's a bad idea to have too many different beefs in too many different places. You know, especially if you're a private citizen or a civilian. Now, if you're in the streets and you got ties to certain organizations in that way, that may come with their territory, so you may not ever know where it's coming from, but you live a life. If you sign up for that, you live a life where that could be possible. If you're not signed up for that and you're just getting into it with a bunch of people all the damn time, you don't know where it's coming from, that can be a dangerous thing, because now you create the environment for opportunities to step into your life, take advantage of the fact that you don't know where it's coming from, and get you. You know what I mean? And situations like that have been possible. So it's like you gotta try to cut down on the conflict if you're not prepared at all times for it to come from any direction. If that's not your lifestyle, you need to not be in a space where you get into it with too many people at one time. It's not smart, because you don't know where it's coming from, and then you get that third party possibility where somebody who don't have no problem with you per se in this situation could come up and say, here goes an opportunity for me to throw in some dirt and pick up some pieces or something like that. Things can happen. And so from what I understand, it was a situation where a security guard was shot in the chest late last night or early this morning at Drake's, down the street from Drake's property. And of course, you know, the news is reporting it as that Kendrick Lamar beef probably had something to do with it. But as I was listening to bloggers digging through it, they were more or less saying that the Weeknd's people had dealt with something, this very same thing, a couple of weeks ago in LA, where a security guard was shot outside of the Weeknd's residence out here. Same MO. The security guard was in the same age range. Both of the streets were named Lane or something like that. I was listening to King AK-47, voice of the streets, talk about that, and he was breaking down what the information was. And it's like, yo, these two situations, if they ain't the same person doing this, then it's probably retaliatory energy in regards to it. It's probably spinning around type situation. So probably had nothing to do with Kendrick Lamar, to be honest with you. Probably had more so to do with that situation. So that's hearsay, of course. Nobody really knows nothing. That's just what the tea leaves read. But all in all, this is what I'm talking about when you're beefing with too many different people. You don't know if it's coming from that direction. You don't know if it's coming from that direction. It could be coming from there. It could be coming from two places at once. You could have people team up on you. It's a lot of different stuff that's possible when you start beefing at random everywhere. You know what I mean? And I just think that that's the problem with what Drake is dealing with. There's too many people mad at him at one time who are aggressive at him. There's always going to be circumstances where people are going to be mad at you, hating on you, that. But if you going in back and forth with them and you got threats going that away and threats coming from that away and that away, you ain't going to never know where it's coming from. And as you don't know where it's coming from, then there's so many opportunities for a third party to come in, as I've already said. So that's what I'm kicking out here. That's what I'm talking about. I think the best thing for Drake to do is try to squash as many of them beefs as possible. I think that's smart now, because now it's starting to become a thing. You're probably not going to be able to squash necessarily everything that's going on with Kendrick. If Kendrick crossed about 8-9 lines, that you probably never want to see that man again, not without it being a confrontation of some sort. And I understand that at this point. It's has gotten bigger than rap. Once allegations start going out about people being predators, about people slapping their wives around, stuff like that, now these two men got real problems. Real problems that could affect how their circles view them, how the world views them, and image is everything for these two superstars. So it ain't gonna be them sitting down and just hashing this out. I don't see that coming. But they are gonna have to amicably coexist, because they're gonna be in the same places at the same time over the years. Award shows and stuff like that, festivals and stuff like that. There's no way they can blackball one another. It's not gonna happen. They're too big for that. So it's just I don't know, man. We got to see how this pans out with this shooting going on. Of course, there's a lot of people who are not gonna know anything other than to say it has something to do with the beef with Kendrick, and that's really what the news is reporting. And of course, Kendrick put Drake's estate on his cover art for one of the beef songs, which I thought was a little reckless, to be honest with you. I understood what he was trying to do there, but you fast forward a couple of days and it's like, oh, so you're the one that gave everybody his address, more or less, which ain't true, because it was already on the internet. I had seen it many times myself. Everybody's seen his house. They know where it's at in Toronto. So on the more, it's like a palace basically. So nobody would be surprised to see that on the internet post this situation, but the masses may not necessarily be aware of that. So when you send that out to Joe Blow, who don't even know who Drake and Kendrick is, it looks as if Kendrick doxed this man. And now there's a shooting at his house 48 hours later or whatever. Which is what I think is bad about the situation. Kendrick has to do better. And I've been saying that. I've been getting on Kendrick's side of things more so than Drake's, because I just don't expect as much from Drake as it pertains to being more conscious and more on a higher frequency, so to speak. That's been my attitude. Like, Kendrick's supposed to be better than this. He's supposed to be leading these people into places where their minds can go there to help them. Not mucking around in the dirt with Drake. Not at all. But you know, it is what it is. Now we got to see what transpires from here. And hopefully it's just over. Once violence occurs, whether it has anything to do with these guys or not, it's not as fun anymore. You know, I was listening to somebody speak on that this morning. He was like, man, I'm not going to report on this anymore. Now that somebody got hurt, it ain't fun no more. And that's what we were hoping wouldn't happen. When you talk about these type of artists, you don't want that. But, you know, unfortunately enough, this is where we're at. And hopefully it's not more of this. Hopefully neither one of these people have to lose anybody in these camps. Obviously the shooting was a serious one, but the guy is still alive from what I understand, expected to make it. So that's the good news, and we'll see if he has anything to say about what happened to him. I have my doubts that he actually will say anything at all. But, you know, it is what it is, man. When it comes to situations like these, you just want the parties involved who are talking to respect the fact that other people have to get the brunt of what goes wrong when you do that. And so that's what I have to say. At the end of the day, these two artists are too big for this nonsense. They really are. If you want to have conflict, you should be doing it behind closed doors, basically, is my attitude. That way, you ain't got the public egging it on, instigating, which we're naturally going to do. And everybody and their grandma picking apart each and every move and keeping it on the internet for all time. These dudes are going to be 20, 30 years from now. People are still going to talk about this. They're still going to point out every mistake, every syllable of every word. It's cute right now, but it ain't going to be cute later on when they're trying to get past this and people still bringing it up when they talk about their legacies. You know, so I just wish people had a little more of a broader respect for what stuff looks like later on in this era. And I try to consider that when I make content too. People are gonna remember this crap, you know, whatever it is. People are gonna not only remember it, but they're gonna be able to access it. So that can become significantly more annoying for this generation than maybe Michael Jackson's generation or Diana Ross's generation, where there's not as much footage of whatever took place. So, yeah, man, that's my thought on the situation. It all goes into history books, including what happens next. So I think the music should be where it stops from here. I don't think Kendrick should send any more music out at Drake. Honestly, don't. I had a theory that, you know, once Drake told him to drop and give me 50, Kendrick may consider giving him 50 songs, which would, I think, oversaturate Kendrick Lamar, which is the opposite of what he's been able to really benefit from. It's his mystique and the fact that he seldom comes around that I think makes him as awesome when he does drop. It's for a lot of people. And they only see him once every 4 years, and when he does come out, he's coming out guns blazing. So I think that works more so than him dropping every 3 days, every 3 hours, talking about Drake over and over again just to feed that irony. I don't think it should be done, but it crossed my mind that that's what he's thinking. You know, drop 50 songs on this man, which it ain't that serious. I really don't believe people would even want to hear that. It's cute right now, but after like 5 or 6 songs of this, it's gonna start getting annoying to people, especially now that someone's been shot. So yeah, man, for somebody who was old enough to remember Pac and Big, who was conscious enough back then, it's time to stop. We got the songs, we had the moment, we had the Family Matters drops, and then boom, here comes you know, the other song. Oh my God, like he stepped on his song, that's so cool. And then the Victory Lap song, which is a super banger that we're gonna hear all summer long. And all the catchphrases in there are gonna be something that we're gonna sing for the rest of our lives, pretty much. And you know, I mean, I get it. I think if the moment is upon us, we can enjoy the music that's been released. Maybe 1 or 2 more songs get dropped, but other than that, I think it should be over. I really do. 1 or 2 more songs at the most from both of these guys. After that, I personally don't want to hear any more of this. I really don't. That's where I'm at with it. But it's been fun. It's been very fun. I enjoyed the music. Most of it's been quality. Everybody has a different opinion about how they feel about the music and all of that. But at the end of the day, now that somebody got hurt, it's enough. That's enough. That's really what it is. So that's what I want to say, man. Hopefully, prayers out to the person who was shot. Prayers out to everybody involved, all the people who have to stand up against whatever, however this looks. Prayers up to them, because I'll tell you right now, I would hate to be a part of somebody's entourage who has a big mouth and wants to get into it with people. I don't think it's worth it, personally, to be your muscle when you're just gonna ring out off the top of your mouth about powerful people because you didn't like what he said to you back in 2020 or something like that. And now I gotta react to that. Now I gotta defend and all that. People got kids, people got families to raise, dreams of their own. And a lot of times they end up getting involved in this. It don't be the artist that gets shot most of the time. It's usually his homie. And that kind of thing. It's like, nah, stop that, man. The streets need to stop giving these celebrities passes in that regard, in my humble opinions. Stop giving them passes, bro. If they want to run their mouth, make them pop the gun. Real talk. Because if they're going to put themselves in positions to mess up the money, it shouldn't be your life on the line to make sure that you cover up their stupidity. And that's really what it is, or to back up the record company's intentions upon seeing conflict for profit. Make the record company pay for the damn security. Don't put your life on the line because you bang with homie. Nah. Because he going to go back to his mansion or wherever he live, his high rise, all the way on the other side of the country, and you're going to be out in the streets dealing with the bull. Ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. That's bad math. Streets need to stop letting people do that, in my humble opinion. And so, yeah, man, we've seen it too many times, dude. Seen it way too many times. Rarely does the artist be the one to end up in the ground. And me personally, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the narrative. Been on the earth long enough to be tired of that at this point. So, yeah, man, that's my little point of view. It's my 9 cents of the situation. I want everybody to just be mindful of who you rope into your conflicts, especially if you got a lot of power. You know, people will run through a wall for you. Don't have them running through walls for no reason, or because you just have a moment that you're trying to capitalize on. That's whack. Super whack. And so there needs to be a documentary done on how many people have lost their lives because some celebrity opened their mouth and now they want to back them up. There needs to be a documentary on that. You start putting these people's pictures in their memory and immortalize them for the sacrifices that they caused, that they had to give up their lives for the nonsense. I would love to see that documentary so we can bring some life to this conversation, because it's a real one. Regular Joe Blows living in the hood losing their lives over some clout, somebody else's clout. That's just trash. That's a culture that needs to stop. And a lot of people want to be around famous people. You want to be around this and that, but they ain't gonna open their mouth unless they got you there. They ain't gonna start that beef unless they got numbers. That's why I have a hard time respecting people like that, man. I have a very hard time respecting people like that. As somebody who does everything on his own, who don't really surround myself with a lot of people, it's hard for me to respect the dudes that are gonna open their mouths and then expect everybody else to back them up. You know you a $150, you 5'10". Why are you opening your mouth trying to fight with somebody who's twice your size, twice money as you, and all that? I know why, because you got a bunch of people around you who you know going to run through a wall for you because they love you like that. You trash for putting their lives on the line. And that's pretty much my point of view on that. So that ain't excluding nobody. Everybody needs to be thinking like that, especially if you're somebody of influence. Don't have people running through a wall to save you when you starting stuff. So, BDF 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.